Hello everyone, welcome to another tutorial video. This one we're going to be going over the tools and weapons of the Long Dark, and this is going to be kind of an introduction to them, what they do, how to craft them, which ones are available in which difficulty modes, and it's just kind of a rundown of the standard tools. I did not include any of the tools or weapons from the trader, nor did I include some of the weapons or tools that you can't place out, like the travois. Um, but without further ado, let's get started. All right, welcome everyone. Today, what I did was I laid out a few tables and I laid out a lot of weapons and tools on the tables, and I'm going to go through some of these items and what they do and how to acquire them, some of them, and how to craft some of them. So the first thing we need to do is, before we go into any of the weapons, I would like to show you the tools first, and let's go over here to the tools bench and some of the materials that you'll need to craft some of these items. Some of these items are only available on, stalker level or below. Some are required if you want to progress with tools and weapons in interloper mode. And I'm going to go through each one of those things, as they come up. So these are all the general tools that you can use in the game. Now, like I say, these are just the general ones. These are not some of the ones that are included in DLC, like things like the travois and things like that, because you can't set it up indoors. I figured you can learn that one about that one later on. That's no big deal. Okay, so let me show you what we have here. We have two different versions of hatchet and knife in the game. One of them is, of course, a regular hatchet that you could find in the game. Now, you cannot find one of these, or actually, let me show you these both together. So we have a hunting knife and a hatchet. These are standard world items that you can buy in a hardware store. You can find these in the game, not in Interloper though. These tools are not available in Interloper. You will have to craft or forge your own tools. These are the improvised versions. These are the ones that you would craft from using a forge. Okay, and I'll show you a forge. We're in the hangar here at Forsaken Airfield. Downstairs there's a forge. I'll show you what that is. There's a lot of new players that have never seen a forge yet. They don't know what it is. I'll show it to you a little bit later. Let me go through this tutorial first. This is a special kind of knife. You can only get this by killing a cougar. You have to kill a cougar and get its claw, and then you can make a cougar claw knife. These are, like I said, these are the two improvised tools that you make by crafting. And these only be acquired. You will need these in Interloper. You cannot get these in Interloper. All right, so moving on. These are some of the materials you need to craft these tools. You need scrap metal, which you can find in the world. You need cloth, which you can find in the world. You'll need one of these. This is a heavy hammer, and this is used in the forge. You have to have one of these in order to use the forge to forge a weapon. So if you see one of these, you pick it up, and then you can use it in the forge. I'll show you that later. So you need a heavy hammer, and you'll need some coal. The coal needs to be, the forge needs to be a certain temperature in order for you to forge in it. And the only fuel that you can use for that is coal. Now, you can use other fuel, but you have to use an awful lot of it. You have to be 150 centigrade in order to forge, and coal is really the best fuel to use to get that forge up to the temperature that you need. Okay, you can acquire scrap metal by breaking things down, like pry bars and things like that. These are arrowheads. You'll need these to make arrows. You can only acquire, well, you can find these in the game. Sometimes you can find them. But if you want, to use an interloper, These are very far and few between. You might get one here and there, an interloper, but you're going to need to forge these using scrap metal. And so those are the general tools that you'll need for general purpose things in survival in the long dark. You certainly need a knife and a hatchet to help harvest and to make. Now, if you want to make any of these weapons, especially bows and arrows, you need to have tools in order to craft them. Same thing with clothing. I'm gonna do a tutorial on clothing a little bit later too. All right, so let's move on a little bit. We're gonna move on to this table here. Okay. Like I said, I did not include any of the trader items. You can get bows from the trader. You can get a special bow from the trader. I did not include it in this video. But these are the ones in the standard game. You have the survival bow, and you have the Woodwright's bow. You cannot craft a Woodwright's bow. You have to find it, and unfortunately, you can't get it on Interloper, which kind of stinks, but that's the way it is. So let me start over here on the left. Here's some of the items you'll need to craft and use a bow in this game. You'll need arrow shafts. Now you make arrow shafts from birch saplings. What you do is you find these in the world, you drop them in an indoor location. It has to be an indoor location, and they cure. Each item takes a certain amount of days to cure. Birch takes about 3 days, and maple takes about 5 days to cure. Once they're dry, you can make arrow shafts. The maple saplings are used to make the bow itself, along with guts. So you need cured guts, and you need cured maple to make a bow. You'll need cured birch to make arrow shafts. You need feathers, crow feathers, to make arrows, and you'll need the arrowheads to completely make all the arrows you need. I hope I'm explaining this okay. I'm not really the best at explaining this stuff, but I do the best I can here. You'll also need some sticks. Actually, let me show you the arrows first. There's two different types of arrows in this game. One is a fire-hardened arrow, and the other is a simple arrow, which has the arrowhead tip on it and 3 feathers and an arrow shaft. The fire-hardened arrows you craft at a fire, and all you need to make these is a feather and a stick. These fire-hardened arrows are great for rabbits and ptarmigans. I would not use these on deer or wolves or anything higher than a ptarmigan or a rabbit. They're very, very good with ptarmigans and rabbits, and they're very cheap to make. They only take 1 feather and 1 stick to make. So they're quite cheap, and they're worth it to use on small game. I included a hacksaw because a hacksaw is what you need to cut saplings. Now you can have a hatchet too to cut saplings. So you're not stuck with just a hacksaw. I just included it as a reminder. You'll need something like that to cut the saplings. Okay, has everybody got that so far? I hope. So those are what you need. So like I said, you'll need to get the 2 types of saplings to make arrows and the bow, and you'll need guts, and you'll need feathers to make arrows. You'll also need sticks and arrowheads. Okay, so that's all you need to craft bows and arrows in this game. Now we're going to move on to the guns. I took the liberty of getting all the variants out on the table for you here so you could see them all. Originally in the game, there was this rifle and this revolver. That was the only 2 guns you can get in the game. Since the update and everything, and the DLCs and everything, came new rifle variants and new revolver variants. Each one of these does the same job for the most part. The differences between them are pretty much subtle. There's only subtle differences, and most of them include weight differences or range differences and reliability. Those are the differences that exist between them. For the most part, they all kind of function. They work pretty much the same. I haven't seen that much difference in them. I'm going to go over them in each in turn. Now, you can find these here, these three variants in regions. Now, I'm not going to spoil that for you, and I'm not going to tell you where to find them. I will tell you where to find this. This is a generic rifle. You can probably find this in a good percentage of the regions. You can pretty much find these two generic ones. Okay, but these variants are only in specific regions, in specific locations. And how it works is, in each region, there's 3 or 4 spawn areas that this rifle could spawn, for instance. Let's talk about this one. There's only a few regions. There's only one region that this rifle will spawn in, but it could randomly spawn in one of 4 places. So it's your job to go to one of those places, and hopefully you can find it. Now I'll go over some of these. This one is the Curator's rifle. This is my personal favorite. This one, the benefit of this rifle, and it tells you the description on the side, is it's, first of all, it looks the coolest. It looks the best. Second of all, it's got a great range on it. It's probably got the longest range out of all the rifles. You could stand pretty far away from a moose and hit it with no problem whatsoever. Plus, it looks cool. All right, and then we have Barb's rifle. The difference with this one is the reliability. This rifle lasts a very long time before you have to clean it. It really decays slowly, which is really nice. But it's kind of heavy. It weighs 4.5 kilo. This one weighs just 4 kilo. Then we have Vaughn's rifle. This one, what's nice about this one is the lightest rifle out of all of them at only 3 kilograms. It wears out kind of quickly. It even tells you it's fragile. So it kind of wears out a little bit quick. Now I've got to tell you that the decay ratio is not that much different between each one of them. They say it is, but to be honest, in normal gameplay, you hardly even notice it. It's not something you pay attention to. Okay, and this was a standard rifle that was in the game for the longest time when they first included it in the game. This weighs 4 kilograms. You'll have to do the conversions. Even though I live in the U.S., I use metric in this game. It's just how I remember it to being, Okay, let's move on to the handguns. This is, like I say, the standard gun that was found in the Long Dark when it was first introduced in the game. Very good weapon, by the way. It's very powerful. Let's start with the upper left. This one is the Forester's revolver. Again, you can only find these in certain regions and in random spawn locations. And the differences between these revolvers, it's pretty much the same as the rifle. Most of it's by weight and reliability and stuff. So this one's pretty cool. I think it's kind of the ugliest one out of all of them, so I don't really care about this one that much, to be honest. But it works well, and it's a good weapon. This one, by far, is one of my favorite looking ones. This one reminds me of the Vaughn's rifle. It also reminds me of kind of like a Dirty Harry, Clint Eastwood type revolver. But yeah, this one reminds me of the Curator's rifle, kind of a match to it. And this one is one of my favorites that I like to carry with me. And the reason being, it's only a 1.25 kilo. It's very, very light. And I only use the revolvers in this game to scare wolves. I don't use guns really generally in this game. When I play interloper or higher. But when I play lower difficulties, sometimes I'll choose this revolver because it's got a very fast draw rate, and I actually have one on me, and I can show it to you. See how fast that came out? This is that snub-nose revolver. It's like almost immediately it's available for you. So those are the differences between the two firearms, the revolver and the rifle. Each rifle takes all the same ammunition, so they don't take different. They'll take the same rifle ammunition. They all take the same revolver ammunition. This is a cleaning kit. You can find these in the world. These, you need to make sure you keep your weapon kind of clean, because if it gets in the yellow condition, it can jam on you. And it can jam on you at the worst time when you really need it. Okay? So that's pretty much a brief introduction of the weapons. I didn't need to make it too lengthy. I just wanted to explain what you needed to get things crafted. And now I'm going to take you for a quick trip down to the forge and show you how it works. So let's go take a walk downstairs here. There's a forge down here. Okay, so this is what a forge looks like. There's only a few of these in the game. I'm not going to tell you where they are because, again, it's spoilery. You obviously know where this one is. I just spoiled it for you, but I needed to use it for the video. Excuse me. So generally what you want to do is you want to start a fire in here, and you want to add as much fuel in the beginning, because you want this forge, in order to use it for a forge, it has to reach 150 centigrade. So what you do is you put fuel in it, and you only limit it to 11 hours of burn time. So what you want to do is use the best fuel, like fir is really good, and cedar. And then you want to put coal in it until you get to that temperature that you need. And then what you do is you click on the top part, and then you'll come up with the crafting menu. And it shows you can make your arrowheads, you can make your axes and your knives through that menu. Okay, so that's about it. I hope I explained it all right. I'm not the best at doing this. I'm just trying to, maybe I can help give people some, clues on how they work and all that. And so anyway, I'm not a super real content creator. I'm just trying to do my best here to give you some tutorial videos. I hope you like this one. I hope you learned something, maybe something you didn't really know about. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, and take care. Don't forget, hit that like, subscribe button if you like the content. Don't forget, if you have anything to comment on, please put it in the comment section, and hit that bell if you want to be notified. Take care, everyone, and have a good day.